Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to Financial Lovemaking, where we talk about love, life, money, and everything in between. I'm here with my incredibly argumentative and combative colleague, the entertainment director at Ebony Magazine, Miss S. Tia Brown. We were arguing big time before we started, so we're coming into this conversation with a running start. There's so much momentum, but it's all good. It's all good. I totally respect her opinion, even when she's totally dead flat wrong. But anyway, I want to
We
ask.
agree to disagree, people.
Yes,
And
we are.
as a man, Boyce has a very difficult problem
What is that?
not having someone bow down and say they are in total agreement
Oh
with
Lord!
him,
Oh
which does
Lord!
not happen here all the time. But I think in today's story, we may actually agree. So, Boyce, tell them a little bit about today's topic.
Well, there's this doctor in Illinois. I have to look her name up, but she what was her name?
Aaron Irons.
Yeah, Erin Irons. She was a physician who um, slept with a man that she was having an affair with, another doctor, and she they had oral
They can
sex.
actually sleep together, right? That's the
Yeah,
thing.
they didn't nobody was sleeping. And she took his semen and it was in her mouth, and I don't know if he cared what happened to it afterward, but she somehow was able to. I didn't know you could do this. She was able to use it to get herself pregnant, and so they went to court because he was saying, I shouldn't have to pay child support because she stole this seed from me and made a baby.
Right.
And the judge said, that's your baby. You have to pay child support. Get over it.
There's some details that Boyce is leaving out that I think are kind of important. This is definitely like a scene from Being Mary Jane or some other television show or movie that we always think won't happen. So they had oral. This couple was engaged in an affair. They may have had sexual intercourse the traditional way, but they were having oral sex during one occasion. She saved the semen and did not tell him that she was using it to get pregnant. 2 years later, she hit him with a paternity suit, and that's how he found out about the child, which I think is a completely different level of betrayal, irresponsibility, and manipulation. So they went back and forth to court for years because she decided that she wanted paternity, what is it, child support for the child, and it's not really up to us to decide whether or not she's due that. But I think morally, what she did was absolutely apprehensive. I think that it was a completely selfish act, and while money is the biggest issue here when it comes to financial lovemaking, right? Wait, the child is also a big issue because now you had a child who was conceived without paternal consent, who will not have his or her biological father in his or her life for a certain time period because they didn't know they were conceived, and they are very upset and frustrated, and reasonably so, about being now stuck with this responsibility that they did not partake in making a decision to create. And I just think it's completely apprehensive that someone would do this. As a woman, I understand that many women, especially as you get older or as you reach a certain point in your career, you decide that you want, motherhood in your life to kind of round out all of your goals. But being a mother isn't about just checking a box. It's really about creating someone under best case scenario. I've done my due diligence to pick a partner who wants to participate in your life in a loving way, who can support me emotionally, financially in a loving way, and who is happy about this child's creation. And I just think Dr. Aarons really missed the ball on this completely. What are your thoughts, boys?
Well, or you could make a bad joke and say he missed the balls. But anyway, the what I will say is that I agree with you that it was just downright sneaky, and it makes you really think about some of the experiences of, say, professional athletes, guys who have a lot of money, and maybe it could happen to a woman with a lot of money in a different way. I mean, you have Sherri Shepherd who says that her ex-husband Lamar Sally tricked her into signing a contract to have a surrogate child, and then immediately filed for divorce so he could get child support. And I think that maybe the walkaway lesson from this that I would get, number one, is if you're a person that has resources, you have to be extremely careful about who you let into your life on any level.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about sharing your seed. I think that this comes as a shock because it's just astonishing that how people might come up with new and creative ways to manipulate you. I mean, nobody really ever thought this was even possible, let alone that someone would have the audacity to do it. But I've even heard of right, but I've even heard, underground about, different scenarios where women will set up professional athletes in different situations to somehow extract money from them, extort money, actually, using things like date rape drugs, putting the guy to sleep. Maybe this is just one example. They would put the guy to sleep. They would put an underage girl in the bed with him while he was asleep and take pictures. And then when he woke up, they'd say, "We've got these pictures. We're going to send them to your wife. We're going to send them to the media. We're going to send them to your team. So you need to give us $10,000." Well, to an athlete, $10,000 is no big deal. So that most of them would just pay. And so I think that we have to realize we're living in an ever more sophisticated world, and people that have something to protect, maybe you need to protect it, and that means being thoughtful about who you even allow into your life, especially into your bed.
Right. And I think this is not even just something for people of means, whether you're a man or a woman. This is for anyone who is viewed as desirable to someone else, which essentially is everybody. There are people who are manipulative and who view their wants as only the most important thing on the hierarchy of what's right. So whether you are, sweeping up the streets, a bus driver, a lawyer, a teacher, a doctor, president of a company, you are at risk, male or female, of being manipulated by someone else into a situation that you don't want. I think particularly for men, this is a little disconcerting because it now sets the precedent that you are responsible for all ejaculation. But
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
literally, right. So I think that you have a higher burden at this point due to this case, in making sure that you choose your sexual partners wisely. In addition, that you are mindful of how you dispose of your ejaculation, which is crazy to say, right? But anything goes in this day and age. So, I think it's really sad. And for the women out there who, like I would say someone in Dr. Sharon Aaron's situation, I understand that people get lonely or they want things to happen a certain way, but understand that you don't get what you want ultimately by creating a situation where you rob the other party of choice. We wouldn't want to be robbed of the choice whether 'cause this could happen to a woman where you're dating someone and he decides he wants to be a family and get you pregnant, knowing that you might not believe in abortion, and you would be essentially trapped, right? So you don't want to trap people. You want marriage to be a choice. You want family to be a choice. And when you really are looking at parenting, you're looking again at that child's needs before your wants. So
Well,
those are my parting
well,
thoughts. What
well.
about
I
you?
think that's a good parting thought. But I think at the same time, we have to look at just the extreme rarity of this case, right?
Right.
I can't imagine anybody watching, or at least I hope not, who's saying, "Ooh, this is a great idea. I'm gonna get my baby like this."
But don't be wrong. Don't be fooled because see, you might not decide to, steal the sperm, but what you might decide to is have unprotected sex purposely to get pregnant with someone who is not ready to be a partner.
Oh, now you're talking about what men can do.
Yes.
I think that's much more common. I think it's much
Yeah.
more common for a
So
man
I
to
think
do
that
something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that we still have to be mindful, and it doesn't take the extreme scenario to create the result, a child that wasn't planned by both parties. So we just need to really make sure that we're taking all parties' needs into consideration, including that unborn child.
Well, and what's also interesting too is that you can even extrapolate that to other scenarios where maybe a woman wants to keep a man around just goes to him and just lies and says, "I think I'm pregnant," or let's say she either wants the man or she wants some money. And I have seen that. Maybe I say that I'm pregnant so that he'll give me money for an abortion, and I just go shopping with the money, or I say that I think I'm pregnant, and that makes him drop the other girl that he's now dating and to come date me. That I've seen quite often. Also I think ultimately the courts are right in that you have to think about the best interest of the child. And so this child is in this world. The child has two parents. those two parents are obligated to pay the child support whether they wanted to create the baby or not. Because what's also funny to me is that a large percentage of the children that are born every year are not planned. They're not wanted, right? And to me, that's the dirty little trick that Mother Nature plays on us. Most people lay down to have sex and they don't think anything about procreation. It's almost in their mind they're linking to the pleasure of it and not at all thinking about the why procreation
The
exists
function.
or,
Yeah.
or why sex exists in the first place. And yet a certain percentage of those people walk out of that bedroom and somebody's pregnant after that sex occurs. So I just tell people, always understand that when you decide to lie down with anybody, you
Or
are you are then a part of the.
in this case, he didn't even lie down.
Well, he didn't lie down. He didn't lie down, but
He
he
obeyed
but
now.
but he made himself vulnerable to this woman on some level. Obviously, this was extreme, but at the same time, whenever you decide to.
The umbrella issue is, and I
Right.
completely
Well,
agree.
right. That's what I'm saying. When you lay down with someone, or when you get in the bedroom,
When you
when
engage
you
in
get
sexual
naked with somebody,
intercourse
there you
with
go. You,
any,
you're always taking part in the big cosmic lottery, and the big cosmic lottery says that your ticket might get drawn. You might end up with a child that comes out of this, and really, if you really think about it, it could have even been a case where a person, doesn't necessarily say, "Ooh, I'm going to save this semen and get myself pregnant." If that semen is around and they touch themselves in a certain way, I'm not going to get too graphic. Maybe that could happen. I don't know. So that's what I
okay,
would just say. Is
yeah,
that
okay,
it's
wait,
is that what I would just say to guys. I always say this to guys: be thoughtful about where you put your seed. Be thoughtful about the spirits that you let into your life. Be thoughtful of really how you perceive or how you deal with anybody that you sleep with,
I
because
say that for men and women.
women too. There you go. Absolutely. People.
That's it.
Period. Yeah. Don't sleep with people who might hurt you. If somebody because I would argue that if she did something this sinister, I'm sure that there was some other area where the doctor probably had some indicator that this woman was sinister enough to do something harmful to him.
Right.
He probably saw her in another context do something to somebody, and maybe he overlooked it because she was pretty, or maybe he didn't even know her well enough to even know that she was that kind of person. Either way, you shouldn't have that person in your bedroom. That's my philosophy.
Okay, well, thank you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. This sinister topic, as Dr. Watkins likes to say. And thank you guys for listening. Until next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.